start with you. What would another lackluster game for Caleb mean?
I think it might mean one of two things, Coach. One, it could, and it's still early, I guess. I mean, right? A lot of other players in his class are cooking. But it might mean he's like Nick's other guy, Trevor Lawrence. Like he's all right. Is a starter. It's pretty good. But not, and I hesitate to just write guys off now because we look at Darnold, Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith, but I'm saying Baker, he just might be pretty good. The other thing, though, I think it could mean, Coach, he's thinking too much, which he probably is because of Ben Johnson's putting a lot on his plate. But it's a thinking position. I think that's a big difference. I think sometimes that's why you see these excellent college quarterbacks that never become excellent in the NFL. And you see some guys who are, solid in college and become great because I think it's processing, decision-making, getting rid of the ball quickly, how, smart you are with, his pre-snap stuff is still a problem. It's just slow. Even if he's getting up there and they run the right play, it's just slow. So it just might mean that, I guess what I'm saying, they both go together. Maybe if he's thinking too much, he just is going to be a pretty good, okay quarterback, but not a great quarterback.
What's strange about this pattern, so he's had 2 games in a row where he's been sub-80 quarterback rating, and this could potentially be, let's say this is 3rd game in a row where he's sub-80. This is the exact same time as last year when he had 3 games in a row of sub-80 quarterback rating. And really, it's the same situation. They were 4-2. They lost the Washington game. That started his 3 games of not very good quarterback rating. And we know how that panned out. And now here we are almost identically a year later, and we're in this same rut, which is disappointing because you'd like to think that with the addition of Ben Johnson and now how far into the season we are, that there may be the off game, but it's not going to be 3 in a row. It's not going to be this type of pattern, and we had grown out of that. And at some point, I don't think we're there yet, but we got to stop making excuses for his lack of progress. It can't be all the head coaches and the offensive coordinators and the opportunities. And at some point, it's about him.
Looks like you want to say something, KW. If he has another bad game, it's time to reevaluate the ceiling and the floor for Caleb Williams. So I went through the other quarterbacks in his draft class. Jaden Daniels, ceiling, Super Bowl MVP. Right? MVP, superstar. Floor, too skinny. But that's what it is. It's
floor is. I know his mom got
banged up.
Floor is the
just in and out of the lineup. Great, but banged up.
His mom got mad at people talking about this, but the floor is RG3.
Yeah, it was
and again, I feel that's just Washington, dynamic, amazing quarterback that injuries take in a different direction. That is not. It feels harsher than I mean it to be, but that's what it was.
Bo Nix, Sean Payton's Drew Brees.
Okay, that's not his ceiling.
That's what Sean Payton says it is.
I understand, but his ceiling is not that he's the 7th greatest quarterback ever.
He says he's good.
Okay, but that's all right. I'm just telling you. I don't know.
What does Sean Payton think his ceiling is?
Well, Sean Payton thought Taysom Hill's ceiling was Steve Young. I don't care about what Sean Payton says. I think.
Bo Nix, pretty darn good.
Oh yes, sure.
Floor?
What's his floor?
Mac.
Pretty good.
No.
Mac, you think is this? I don't think.
No,
Mac
you can't say his floor is. I'm not trying to ruin your exercise.
Pretty good. Moving on.
I mean, that's not his floor, but go ahead.
What's his floor?
That he's not a long-term starter. You
think Mac
Coach
is his Mac Jones?
I think that's part
yeah,
of the floor.
yeah. Go ahead. Drake.
Prince was promised.
Who is that?
Wait, what?
No,
This is Drake, or are you talking about
Drake.
Trevor Lawrence?
He's trying to steal that
The
nickname.
superstar.
Yeah,
Superstar. Absolutely.
Prince
You gonna steal that nickname?
He's trying. While he's doing this.
Floor,
Go ahead.
maybe he gets hurt for running style. I don't know what his floor
is what Coach said, is the Darnold trajectory.
Okay.
Well, he's
again the floor. I think
the Darnold
ceiling and
trajectory
floor
already.
are
Turns out they're quite argumentative.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Caleb's ceiling is Mahomes 2.0, but I think his floor is lower than any of those guys.
Is his ceiling still? His ceiling is not Mahomes 2.0 anymore.
You think his ceiling's done too?
I mean, Mahomes 2.0 is like one of the greatest quarterbacks
I didn't know we got divorced
I
off
think
of that.
that's done. I think you even would admit that's done.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my whole thing when I gave it to Danny, was not that I think he's going to be bad, but that I no longer think he is going to be a perennial MVP favorite.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
okay.
is what I think.
So what's his floor?
I think I agree. Well, again,
Well,
I think
his
floor
ceiling is?
KW. We should have maybe workshopped this a little better, and I apologize because I didn't mean to argue.
I like
with you on it.
it's the
No,
exercise.
good idea.
I like
no,
that.
no. Well, because
rough sledding.
No, because I think floor. I think you're doing a guy's median outcome as their floor, and that's why our floors are
yes,
lower.
I understand. Every
And so,
floor is like,
no, but
you know.
but I think
You're
Next
hung up
year.
on Bo Nix.
no,
but
I'm not
let's get
because
back
like
to
no, I
He
think
could be Baker.
who?
He could.
Caleb.
Caleb could be Baker, where they get rid of him, he goes somewhere else.
See,
Baker,
now
I
we're
think,
being
showed
too
more.
We're
Baker
doing
showed
too
more in Cleveland,
hyperbolic
I
on
thought.
it. I
I'm
think
just saying, number 1 overall draft pick doesn't work out at the team.
No,
that
yeah,
bad.
you hesitate to write a guy
Move
off.
on.
We're kicking around dire changes
Yeah,
for
that's what
Caleb.
we're saying.
Yeah,
Floor.
and no, listen, and what nobody has mentioned in this segment is he's playing a defense that everyone cooks. And he just played a defense that everyone cooks. Now, granted, it was before T7, or post T7, but he needs to have a really good game.
Yeah. That was a messy segment. I don't mind it because Wilds was carrying a lot of wood and a lot of water. But yeah, no, I am certainly making another clip about the whole Bo Nix back and forth. But Caleb Williams, I want to have this conversation in a few different ways. One, and I'm going to show you another clip from Greg Cosell, which I think is great, and it's what I've been saying. Greg Cosell today, the other day, has been saying so many things that I had already said that he's now echoing. So it's been pretty good. But I just want to focus on this specific game first, and then we'll go on and look at this a lot more deeply. And then we'll do the whole floor ceiling type thing. This game specifically, right now the public perception around Caleb is angst. Is angst. And there is an antsiness of like, hey, let's get this thing going. And when you have Jaden have the success that he's had, when you even had just the moments, whether you're a big fan of Bo Nix or not, it's almost irrelevant because just the fact that he was able to get to the playoffs, the level of success that he's having right now, whether you think it's pretty or not, still successful. He's got some big time moments. He does lead everyone in the quarterback class with passing touchdowns and wins and passing yards. Is that like there's enough production there that I'm telling you right now, the Denver Broncos fans like feel great about, and the organization feels great about. And now you have Drake May, who again went to at the time a bad franchise, poorly run, bad coaching, messy roster, etc. Had a mess of a rookie season. Didn't even play the full year because one, he just wasn't the starter originally, and then two, and then he got banged up and stuff. So just a mess. And now he's playing great. They gave him a new coaching staff, and he's playing awesome. And Caleb Williams went to a spot, and it was a messy coaching staff, etc., etc. Now it's less of a mess, and yet he's still not popping in the way that people are like, well, what about Drake? What about this? And that's where people are kind of concerned. And now you're going into this game, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, where like Justin Fields is cooking. Like everyone's cooking against this Bengals defense. Everyone. Whether it was Bo Nix, whether it was Justin Fields. Like I'm only using like quarterbacks who are a little bit more, teetering. Aaron Rodgers was cooking, who obviously Aaron Rodgers is great, but he's older, so it's, a little bit different of a mentality. And so playing great in this game does matter. The reality is though, it's like, well, he played great, again, at least statistically, against the Dallas Cowboys. And so if he doesn't have a great game in this game, like this game itself does not indicate whether or not he's going to be great or not. Like when Wilds is like, oh, If he doesn't have a great game, it's time to reevaluate his floor and ceiling. And it's like based off of this game right here, like I don't know about that. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I do think it makes sense from the standpoint of what the public perception is. And that does matter to a degree. It really does. It matters so much more than people want to pretend it doesn't. Like, people, especially in the comment section, will always be like, no one cares about what the fans say. No one cares about what the media thinks. And, like, it's just not really that true. When you're an incredibly well-run franchise, for sure, the Kansas City Chiefs do not really care what the media is necessarily. Like, Patrick Mahomes might hear some stuff, but, like, they're not making changes specifically on that. The Philadelphia Eagles are not, right? The teams that are consistently winning are not. But like the ownership for the Chicago Bears, like, I don't know, man. Ben Johnson feeling a little, antsy, first year head coach, like, it's just different. It's different when you don't have that establishedness, when you don't have the culture that's firmly rooted. Like, the Chicago Bears right now are very much a franchise where everyone's just trying to stay alive, honestly. Everyone's just trying to keep their job. Everyone's trying to prove their worth. Like, this isn't a rooted, established franchise right now. It's just not. And decisions happen fast in the NFL, and in especially that type of situation that the Bears are in, decisions happen fast. And so you don't know if eventually, like, the owner, whoever's is like, no, we're moving on, or we got to do something. You don't know if Ben Johnson's starting to, like, feel the fire and get kind of uncomfortable. You just don't know. And so, yeah, I think, fair or not, people are expecting Caleb Williams to be better than he is right now. But here's the thing, and I'll play the Greg Cosell clip. It's very short. Using this floor or ceiling type thing, and like, what about Baker? What about Sam? And you never want to write a quarterback off. The problem with those comparisons are the fact that those quarterbacks were all in bad situations. They were what the Chicago Bears were last year. It's like if Caleb continued with that coaching, pool with for like 2 or 3 years or something, and then you get sent to another random team, and then then Caleb goes to the Cleveland Browns or something, and he has to jump around. Like, that's what Sam had to do. They went to New York, was a mess, and goes to Carolina, a mess. Baker, same thing, New York, Cleveland, mess, then Carolina, mess, etc., etc. And so you can understand why those things can take time, and you're willing to give those quarterbacks more of the benefit of the doubt. Who knows if Sam Darnold, if he got drafted to L.A. and was with Sean McVay from the jump, if it really takes him that many years. Same thing with Baker, etc., etc. So I think those comps are not 100% accurate in terms of trying to figure out a timeline. Could it be one of those situations where we're saying that the floor is not necessarily what his actual floor it is, but just more of kind of like what's in his potential future in terms of the Chicago Bears moving on from him? Then he has to go to a new team and kind of has to reinvent himself, so to speak, or find a coach that can really unlock him. I think that's technically fair. Again, I'm not predicting it, but I think, of course, it's on the table for any quarterback who gets drafted in really any round, really, but especially the first round. That can always be on the table if you're not playing great kind of quickly. But at the same time, we see the Tuas of the world. We see the Trevor Lawrences of the world. We see all these other quarterbacks who have lingered, have gotten paid, and have had some success. And I wonder if Trevor Lawrence never really becomes who he's like, if he just stays who he is right now. And same thing with Tua. I think that will shake a lot of NFL teams to be like, we're not doing this. Let's say CJ Stroud, and again, I think CJ Stroud is a victim of his team, but let's say CJ Stroud never gets back what he got before. I just think that a lot of teams are just not really going to have a lot of patience, and they're certainly not going to linger. Like, there'll be this kind of like, we're not rushing to pay any quarterback. We're waiting. We're going to be patient. I think it'll be interesting. Now, it's not to say that these other younger quarterbacks are out the gate ready to pop, like, especially out of college. But the reality is like, you can make a real argument that the Dolphins or the Jags, the Carolina Panthers, definitely, like, they'd rather have Jackson Dart right now. And make no mistake about it, like, no one was really thinking that Jackson Dart was ready to take over the NFL. Nobody was thinking that. And in fact, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people right now would say that Jackson Dart as a rookie with Brian Daboll, people are way more optimistic about Jackson Dart than they are about Caleb Williams. Right now, and especially if you want to compare last season's Caleb Williams, there's way more excitement and hype and energy behind Jackson Dart. There's a general, more positive consensus, both inside the building for New York compared to Chicago and both outside. That's real. It just is. You know, whether you like it or not, it is true. And again, I'm not saying that it should or it shouldn't. And this is where I'll now play Greg Cosell's clip.
And he made it easy for the corner Wiggins to undercut it. But I thought there were some positive signs this week, and we'll see. It's going to be a process, Colin. And I think you almost have to accept that Caleb Williams is really in his rookie season, not in his second season.
And I have been saying that very thing at this point now 4 months. I started saying that since last season. Okay, when they were probably, I forget exactly when, but when things started to kind of really crumble and people are starting to get fired and whatnot. So probably around Thanksgiving. I was like, listen, this season is a throwaway. I said, this season means nothing to me at this point. I don't care about, I got zero expectations for the rest of the season. We're punting it. And then now the next season, and that was before we knew about Ben Johnson, I was like, that's going to be his rookie year. And then, of course, especially when Ben Johnson got hired, I kept going on and on and on. I probably said it every single Caleb Williams video in the winter, spring, and summer, that this is his rookie year, this is his rookie year, this is his rookie year. And that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Now, again, it's the level of success that a Drake May is having right now is, it hurts that a little bit, because you're just kind of like, well, Drake May's hitting the ground running. He has a new coaching staff. Like, why not this? And you're just like, yeah, like it is fair. I will say that he has more experience behind him, both from a head coach in Vrabel, and Josh, his offensive coordinator, who was like literally obviously with none other than the Tom Brady. I think that's going to give you a little bit of a boost. But you would like to think that, hey, when you're a great quarterback, when you're a top pick in the draft, you shouldn't need everything to be perfect. And I do think that's fair too. That's why I always think that some of the criticisms, some of the support is fair of Caleb. My issue is always the extremes that we keep finding ourselves in. And it's time to reevaluate his floor and ceiling. That is a pretty extreme statement to make in this moment of time, from my viewpoint. Also, he's been excellent. Like, I wouldn't say that. People tried to really boost up. Look at how many yards he threw last season and touchdowns and no interceptions. And it's like, when you really watch the game, wasn't the most accurate. Those stats weren't the most representative of how he played. And okay, he had a pretty good game against the Dallas Cowboys. Wasn't otherworldly. Oh, he outdueled Jane Daniels. It's like, not necessarily. Wow, he was a disaster. He's the worst quarterback ever. He's a bust. Not exactly true either. Like, everyone just keeps really pumping up the volume pretty loud on the conversation around Caleb Williams. And listen, I always say this about Patrick Mahomes, because people will be like, why is Patrick Mahomes held to such a higher standard? It's like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And that is what Caleb is as the number one overall pick. Like, it's not like just being a number one overall pick. He was being, even when we just say something like generational talent, those words still get lost, I think, in a lot of ways. Caleb Williams was truly set up to be, like what I said, Patrick Mahomes 2.0. Like Nick obviously went to the extreme with it, admittedly, as he would admit. But like, people saying like, hey, he's going to be an MVP conversation, get to the Super Bowl, like it's going to be easy for him. Like, people did think that Caleb was going to get to the NFL and you were going to see Mahomes. Like, you were going to see that flavor of it, that he was just going to be comfortable in the NFL from the jump, that this guy was on a runaway train to just superstardom, and that, whether it was going to be actually Patrick Mahomes, doesn't matter. He was going to be this elite top quarterback, like, from the jump. And there were a lot of people that, it was the Caleb sweepstakes. Throughout the whole season before that, it was like it was the Caleb sweepstakes, Caleb sweepstakes, Caleb sweepstakes. And so there was just so much momentum and hype and energy, especially on the back of seeing Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Like, we're seeing these quarterbacks just absolutely take over the NFL in a way that we didn't necessarily see when Trevor Lawrence was entering the league, in a way where we saw that version of Trevor now going to be like, he's the next Mahomes. Like, he obviously had a ton of hype too, was also considered a generational talent. But I think we were reaching this peak of like, oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, like these quarterbacks are just some of the most insane quarterbacks we've ever seen. And oh my gosh, Caleb Williams is the next one of those. He is the next version of that. And he's getting the NFL. Like that's why Nick was just like, I'm going to have another Mahomes. I'm going to have Mahomes in the AFC. I'm going to have Mahomes in the NFC. Let's party. Like the Mahomes style is taking over. And then it's like, well, it turns out that's pretty hard. And so, yeah, we'll have to see how this whole thing unfolds. But it's just, I agree with a lot of the conversations, and I disagree with a lot of the conversations. I agree that he should look comfortable against this Bengals team, that he should have a great game. But again, to me, it's not enough of just I don't want to see the same performance, at least the style of performance that I saw against the Dallas Cowboys, even though statistically it was a great game. He was throwing to wide open receivers all day. I know he can do that because I don't think Caleb is a bust. So it's like that, a game like that does not move the needle for me. It just doesn't. Some of these other things I want to see, and it's not even just the off-script, off-platform type stuff. It's like I want to see him be able to run the offense at a higher level. But also, I still understand that this is a very young quarterback who's learning a million new things right now. He hasn't broke, which is already impressive enough. He's now had a season and a half of having the world on his shoulders, whether just because the coaching was terrible and then the perception was just all over the place, or this season where he's having a coach that's putting a tremendous amount on his shoulders and in his head. And yet he's managed. He hasn't fallen apart. He hasn't turned into Will Levis. He's the first one that comes to mind, but there's plenty of other quarterbacks that we can go down the list. Quarterbacks where you're just like, I don't know. Like when people say, I don't know if this is going to work with Caleb Williams, like John Middlecoff keeps saying that a lot, and I respect John's, opinion. You see some quarterbacks where you're just like, you're genuinely uncomfortable. You're like, I don't know. You watch it, and it's like almost equivalent when you're watching a basketball game when you're like, I could pull up for a 3. I could drop at least 10 points in this game. Like, basketball is notorious for that, where people genuinely believe that they can step out on the court, which shockingly they can't. But when you watch some quarterbacks in the NFL, you do feel sometimes you're just like, I feel like I could do better. I feel like I could do better. Like, I don't know how did anyone draft this quarterback thinking, why does anyone think that this quarterback should even be on the roster? And now that's becoming a little bit less and less because the talent pool is rising. But once upon a time in the NFL, you did have a collection of quarterbacks that were great, that were special. And then the next level, like you couldn't do a Mahomes mountain because the fall off was so massive, so steep. I don't think we have that as much right now. But like when people are just so casual, like this isn't going to work. Like, there's clearly enough there. Will it be absolute superstardom, Hall of Fame trajectory, unstoppable? Again, to me, it's just way too soon to know. Do you see enough of that juice to believe that that's what it will be? Not yet. Not yet, because I'm less impressed these days with some of the off-platform, off-script plays. I like it. I think it's important. It's definitely important. But like it just these days, it feels like so many people can do that. Kyler Murray can do that. He's not very successful in the NFL right now. And when you don't have a quarterback who can do it, like a Goff or a Burrow, like you feel it too for sure. But unless it's truly paired with other levels of play, which is why Jalen Hurts has been so successful, Jaden Daniels has been successful, why Drake May is successful right now, and then of course the Lamar's, Mahomes, etc., and Allen's. It's just when that's in isolation. That type of skill set, like again, it's great, it's important, but it doesn't move the needle enough for me. Justin Fields can do that, and Chicago Bears know that. Chicago Bears fans know that better than anyone else, and it's like it's not enough. It's not quite enough. Spencer Radler can do that, and it's like it's not enough. So that at this point, rookie year, sure. This year, less so. If we want to continue with the thread that hey, well, this is also his rookie year. It's a fair point, but I'm just focused on the other aspects of his game right now. So yeah, but it's just the way how I look at it right now. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb Williams? How do you think, what would a bad game or a good game mean for him against the Bengals? And what do you think his floor or ceiling is right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.